how it actually works and why it is that how you feel is dictating what you're experiencing. And this is could be like a macrocosm, a larger extended conversation about the law of attraction. Because when we're talking about the law of attraction, we're just saying like attracts like. If you're kicking off good thoughts and feelings, then you're attracting or experiencing things that match that. If you're kicking off bad vibes, if you will, or negative thoughts and emotions, then you're experiencing things like that. Why is that? The reason that is because what is outside of you that you're experiencing out there isn't stuff. It appears to be stuff, but they've actually proved now scientifically that at the core of each one of those so-called seemingly hard physical things out there is subatomic particles are the smallest piece. And those subatomic particles aren't actually physical things, right? They're physical things when you look at them. They become physical objects, like physical hard things. And then when you take your attention off of them, they disappear and they just become a probability of showing up again, a likelihood of whether or not they're there or going to be there or not. So in this work of why feeling good has you attract things more that you want is because all it is out in front of you is a reflection of the thoughts and feelings that you've been having. That's what you're seeing out there. So when you're feeling good, what you're seeing out there, or in other words, what's being reflected back to you through your mind, is things that match that vibration. And when we're saying a vibration, we're saying that emotional state that you find yourself in. So if you're feeling really good all the time, really good things happen. And when I say really good things, I'm talking about unexpected synchronicities that you can't explain of people showing up at the right time. Unexplained synchronicities of people that were potentially trouble for you having to leave at just the right time before you get there. So many things that begin to come into alignment when you feel good, because that's what alignment is. We can't list them all. We can't list them all. It's an infinite number of things. But what starts to happen is synchronistically, your life begins to become an orchestra of things that blend and flow and match how you're feeling, just like your life has been a bumpy, punchy, resistant, from the feelings that you've been emitting up till now. And so you're going to find out that as you begin to shift how you feel, you start to have a different experience out there. Hard for anybody to disprove that to themselves. And what I tell people, what I invite people to do all the time is to meditate. Why? It's simple. It's really profoundly easy to do, technique-wise. Sometimes when your mind is real crazy, it's not so easy to do. But it allows you to quiet your mind. And as you quiet your mind, you begin to release resistance. As you begin to release resistance, you begin to feel better. As you begin to feel better more and more and more, you start to see a shift in how things are showing up and how you're experiencing things in your life. It's so powerful that there are people who start this work from a pretty bumpy, rough, heavy, resistant condition. And when they start doing this work, they take their attention off of a lot of other things in their life that they've been holding on to. Let's say their spouse. And as they start doing this work, they kind of let go of all the attention they had on their spouse. And lo and behold, they start to feel better. And then the experience of their spouse changes. What does it change to? Did their spouse go over there and do some improve your spouse work? They could have done all kinds of things. But what you did that caused that shift over there in your spouse is you began to pay attention to the resistance that you had created for yourself. And as you begin to let that resistance go, people, circumstances, and events all begin to change. What do they change from? They change from a match for who you were feeling like before to a match to who you feel like now. So that preference is yours, and you can actually change that by altering how you feel. You will change how you're doing it out there. And you can just tell from your own life, trying to change it out there is really literally exhausting, because once you get a couple things handled over here and then you start working on this other thing, those first two things that you handled fall out again. Now you got to just keep trying to juggle these balls out here or spin these plates, and you can't keep up with it. It's a real restriction, and you feel the restriction of that. You feel the exhaustion of trying to make that work for yourself. So it's Good indicator of whether you're doing this work or not is it getting easier? Because if it's not getting easier, you're going in the wrong direction. Yeah, it's about enlightenment, not enheavyment. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that practices, very, very, I have a whole list of practices of things that you do in order to release the resistance that you've created. Okay. And these things are called practices by me, techniques by me, but some people call them mantras. Some people call them affirmations. It doesn't matter what you call them. All of these things that we engage in, whether it's meditation, affirmations, vision boarding, it doesn't matter what it is. They are all designed to quiet the mind, release the resistance, and allow you to start to feel better. When I say feel better, raise your vibration, move quicker, start moving faster. And the reason you start moving faster is because you let go of the resistance. So get the idea. Here's a great metaphor. You're in your car and you're driving from New York to California. Your destination is California. But unbeknownst to you, you've got your foot on the emergency brake, and the emergency brake represents the resistance that you create in your life. So as you're driving from New York to California, your foot is resting on the emergency brake, and it's slowly depressing the emergency brake, and the car is starting to drag a little more. It's becoming more effort for the engine to keep moving, and you keep putting more resistance on there. That's kind of like how we live our lives. We just keep creating the resistance until something happens, like you smell the smoke and you see a flame coming out from under the front of your tire because the rubber started on fire from your emergency brake being on. This practice of letting go of that emergency brake and releasing the resistance that you're holding on to, you can see how that allow you to drive more smoothly. You can see how that's going to improve your gas mileage. You can see how that's going to improve reducing the wear and tear on your car. All of these things are going to get smoother and more flow as you begin to let go of this resistance, constantly paying attention to where this resistance is causing trouble for you and letting it go. If you do that for just 1 week, just make it a commitment, an unbending commitment that I am going to look for areas where I feel any resistance or any pushing or any ridge or any opposition. For 1 week, I'm just going to let those go. And check in with me when 1 week, you'll be a completely transformed person. You probably can't do it for a week. The first day or so is going to be real overwhelming when you become aware of how much resistance you're creating for yourself every day. Now, here's what's really beautiful about this piece, this distinction of resistance and self-creation of resistance. You've been doing it for so long because you didn't know what it was costing you. There's no way in this earth, no way that a human being would understand the cost of mental resistance and continue to do it unless he was trying to find a way to demise himself. It's the only condition under which you would continue to keep putting resistance once you learned how it worked. But if you don't understand that the resistance is the cause of it, well, then you're just like another human being, just kind of out there knee-jerk reacting to circumstances and people and trying to get things by changing things in the environment. It's a real empty, unfulfilling life. And the reason that is because when you're exerting so much resistance and so much effort, even when you get something, it's just unfulfilling because you're worn out. So you finally get the job and the money and the stuff, but now you got to go to the doctor twice a week because your prostate's swollen or you've got diabetes or something else has happened as a result of this resistance not getting handled. The car starts falling apart. So whatever condition you find yourself in, I want to let you know from my own experience and from well over 1,000 people that I've worked with this lifetime. It's a crummy feeling to not feel good. When you don't feel good, you got one real problem, and it kind of tarnishes or it clouds or it kind of invades and kind of dampens and kind of ruins everything that you're experiencing in life. You can't create new concepts and new stuff from there. Life is just kind of a bummer, and it's not a conversation that you really have a bunch of outlets to speak about. It's just you feel crummy, and then you spend time trying to kind of hold on to your crumminess. The problem with that is you can't ever handle the crumminess by doing something different and more. The only way you're going to handle the crumminess is by discovering what the source of the crumminess is and then how to handle it. That's why I'm inviting you to join the Skool community, because in the Skool community, you're going to get a course full of modules where you're going to see me talking about these specific component parts of the law of manifestation, law of attraction, law of creation, whatever you want to call it. You're going to watch those videos. You're going to understand that this course is encapsulated in such a way that you can fully have an experience of yourself knowing what to do now. You can also download a free copy of my book, Think It, Feel It, Have It, The Keys to Creation. Just a quick blurb about that book. In there, I talk about the magnetic force, the magnetic field of the heart, the electromagnetic field of the heart, 5,000 times more powerful than the electromagnetic field of the mind. That's going to start to tell you something about how we're going from here to down into here. Also, over the last 15, 20 years, I've gathered what are the sources and the main causes of the resistance that we create for ourselves. I'm going to give you that as well. So you also, as you move and you start doing this work, you start to realize, if I don't keep in this conversation or stay with this work, I start to sink back into these old ways of being, or old thought patterns, or old conditioning, or old programming. So what I've done is I've now incorporated a weekly phone call that keeps you in this conversation. It's not the same as going to church, but the frequency of it and the experience of it is going to be the same. And that is, you're going to gather more knowledge and you're going to release some more resistance and experience more relief. And lastly, this is a whole community. I think right now there's a couple hundred people in the Skool community. This is a whole community of like-minded people, people like you. You can start to interact with people in the group and start to find out more as you're moving along. And lastly, if this is something that's resonating for you and you're ready to really keep going and really take this on in a real concerted, directed, focused manner, there's programs where you and me can work together one-on-one. So let's get moving. Like, no kidding. Let's start moving in the direction that you want to and have you start feeling better and start experiencing things that you want to experience in your life. Book a one-on-one call with me. And in that call, I'm going to lay this out for you really, really clear, in such a way that at the end of the call, you're going to understand that there is a way that you can go about getting yourself to be able to intentionally create things for yourself and for your life, and that how you've been doing it isn't this way. And I'm going to give you that on this phone call. Whether you choose to work with me further, that's a completely different conversation. And if that's something that comes up for you, we'll work that out at the time. But right now, let's just get in touch and let's let you see just how this actually works, which I'm telling you, you're going to find is different than how you've been holding it. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with you and talking with you.